refined, brilliant, and sometimes even a little terrifying. Mortefi is a man of tea, classical music, and science. From designing tacitite weapons to crafting whimsical toys for the youth, he's the fire behind Hwashu Academy's most ambitious breakthroughs, and occasionally its biggest threats. But beneath his polished manners and immaculate laboratory lies a story of obsession, rebellion, and a mysterious past that even he won't fully reveal. Mortefi exudes a sense of nobility and speaks quite gracefully, but he has a fiery personality that can come out at any moment, since he does not have much patience when it comes to anything outside of work. He is obsessed with cleanliness and keeping things in order, in both his home and at work, where everything is carefully and mindfully organized. He also enjoys classical music, which he frequently plays in his personal laboratory. The music is like a muse to him. It inspires him and helps him focus when writing his scientific equations. Additionally, he is incredibly motivated to turn dreams into reality. No matter how outrageous or unrealistic a pitch for an invention may sound, Mortefi will do everything in his power to make that idea come to fruition. Although he is a very hard worker, he always makes sure to allow himself breaks every single day, mainly his afternoon tea ritual. He feels that treating himself to some sweets and tea helps him re-energize to continue his work for the rest of the day. He believes a break for the mind is important. Mortefi is currently at high risk of overclocking, with his emotional state being directly tied to it. His negative emotions are his primary trigger, which is why his psychological state must be regularly monitored, and he requires both counseling and frequent examinations. When he overclocks, the scale-shaped crystalline matter on his chest progressively expands and covers a large area of his skin. Additionally, he experiences a high rise in his overall body temperature, and a fiery dragon appears behind him during this state. According to the diagnostic report, Mortefi had caused a major fire in Desorok Highland. This event was classified under code EX67891 as a Class 3 hazard. As dangerous as this might sound, fortunately, no lives were lost during this event. Mortefi is actually the only international researcher working at Hwashu Academy, which garners a lot of interest and curiosity from the Huanglong locals. In the beginning, however, many were suspicious of him due to his foreign background. Some theorized that he attained his position thanks to his family connections, while others even accused him of bribing local officials. However, those theories were quickly put to rest, as Mortefi managed to prove himself, demonstrating great skill and knowledge when he managed to develop 5 tacitite weapon prototypes in less than 3 days. His interests, particularly in classical music, fancy desserts, afternoon tea, and his fixation on keeping things clean and orderly, are clear hints that he comes from a noble background. Although his personality was definitely influenced by his noble upbringing, another important factor helped shape who he is, which is his passion for music. A theory which has greatly impacted his views on scientific research implies that all music has already been composed, and it is up to the musicians to discover said melodies. The way he applies this idea to research is that scientists spend their lives trying to understand the melodies of the universe. This greatly inspires him and motivates him to continue his research, since he knows there is always new information to discover. Mortefi is seen as a pretty intimidating individual, but he generally tries to remain calm and respectful, except for in certain situations which make his fiery personality come out whether he wants to or not. Mortefi doesn't have much patience when it comes to dealing with clients he considers unreasonable or irrational, which occasionally causes him to make snarky comments and lash out at them. Interestingly enough, because he often uses perplexing metaphors, literary allusions, and popular Huanglong slang, the recipients of his wrath are usually left speechless. Due to his unique way of expressing himself in altercations, some have even written down Mortefi's remarks in small notebooks so they can use them as ammo in future arguments when they can't find the right words to fight back. Mortefi was surprised when he found out about this. He laughed in an annoyed way and said, "It's not that they didn't know what to say, but societal pressures and cultural norms kept them silent. As an outsider unbound by Huanglong's conventions, it just so happens I could speak on their behalf without restraint." Mortefi actually gained great popularity among a group of socially awkward scientists, since they admired his ability to stand up to anyone without a hint of hesitation. The tender grump reveals a sweet, softer side of Mortefi, and that is his weakness with children. As mentioned earlier, Mortefi is incredibly motivated to turn people's ideas into reality. All he needs is a clear description and preferably some kind compliments, and he is ready to roll. The town children often excitedly pop into his laboratory and request new toys to be created for them. Mortefi half-jokingly expressed that the children were really good at bossing him around. Despite this, he is happy to comply with these demands. In some cases, he has even gone multiple days without sleep just to work on these new toys, but refuses to let the children know just how hard he works to create them. Actually, he usually lies about it and tells them that it just took him a few hours to make. It turns out that Mortefi is the creative mind behind 80% of popular children's toys and entertainment facilities. Some of his hottest inventions include the spinning bloop, the swinging longboat, and the saber-bore scooter. Despite creating such unique inventions, he never charges patent fees for his designs, because he says it's not at all about the money. All he wants is to see how his inventions bring joy, wonder, and admiration to the children who use them. Unfortunately, some people tried to take advantage of Mortefi's generosity and attempted to control him and coerce him into service. But Mortefi is not easily deceived, and responded by creating inventions that did satisfy the requests, but with a diabolical twist. These creations would also cause the recipients physical pain, so much in fact that it could be considered torture. These coercers definitely learned their lesson and made sure to never get on Mortefi's bad side ever again. The excerpt Shattered Crown of Prodigy reveals that Mortefi had a complicated childhood, as his parents were neglectful and he felt trapped by hypocritical high society norms. Locked away in his study, he often took out his anger on household objects. However, because his parents were wealthy, they simply replaced the broken items with brand new ones, which made Mortefi feel like no matter what he did to be defiant, it felt completely pointless. Although frustrated, Mortefi did find a way to feel calm and at peace, and that was by disassembling and then reassembling mechanical objects. He found tranquility knowing that if a machine malfunctioned, he knew exactly what to do to repair it, and do so step by step until it was working properly once again. When his parents discovered this hobby, they did not give him a hard time for it, but instead felt proud of their son. They knew how valuable this skill was and provided him with rare and valuable resources, a highly reputable mentor, and access to prestigious research events. Mortefi gained the recognition he deserved and was even hailed as the country's youngest scientific prodigy. That is, until he met a particular young man. At the age of 17 years old, Mortefi had attended the New Federation's World Expo and met a brilliant young man, which he learned had come from Huanglong. This man showcased an invention of his that was beyond anything anyone had ever seen before. It was made with affordable but highly stable materials, and was seen as true innovation in the field. Mortefi stared at him among the crowd, and the young man looked right back at him. Mortefi left the New Federation the day of his coming-of-age ceremony, and it seems no one knew why or what he experienced on his journey to Huanglong, but he had become obsessed with the study of tacitite. Before weatherology was established as a branch of modern science, tacitite technology was actually believed to be some sort of magic. Thanks to Mortefi's drive, tremendous advances in weatherology were achieved. However, many became worried about him. Those around him noticed that Mortefi was skipping several nights of sleep to pursue his obsession with tacitite. They felt that at the rate Mortefi was going, he would suffer burnout, or that his health would suffer. He wasn't too worried about it, though. He thought if the day came in which he was completely burned out and couldn't continue his work, that he would be happy, knowing he left a legacy of knowledge for generations to come. Maybe the true magic of Huashu Academy was its devoted researchers, working tirelessly to continue making significant advancements that would broaden people's knowledge and understanding of the world. Hey everyone, it's paobeary. One other thing I wanted to share with you about Mortefi is that he underwent a few design changes from the first closed beta test. Mortefi originally had a long black and red dragon tail popping out of the back of his lab coat. That tail has been completely removed from his current design. Additionally, in the original design, his hair was much more disheveled and wild, while his new hair looks much more slick and upkept, which I think matches with his personality much more since he is described as someone who is obsessed with ensuring everything looks tidy and orderly. So which version of Mortefi do you prefer? The original design or the current one? Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye, and I'll see you next time.